Alright, welcome back to Noble Reincarnation, Anime Review, Episode number 3. We're reviewing episodes 5 and 6 of this series, and there is stuff that happens over the course of these two episodes. Well, in the case of Noah, as a thank you for having his brother help out with him deal with the rebellion, he wants to buy him a gift. Yeah, his brother Henry. Yes. Yep, so they go to a shop, and I knew exactly where this was going. So, basically, before this whole thing happened, we opened up with the night selection. We were teasing it for the previous two episodes. Now we have it. We have a couple people here just hit it. We're done. Then we see this female knight, who apparently is the last person. Basically, the whole thing is hitting the shield and him trying to block it. She proceeds to break through the shield and wound him. And she's almost nearly executed for this because she's basically wounding a royal. Now, in other countries, this would warrant basically execution. But Noah's like, no, it's perfectly fine. But she wounds you by mistake. Kind of in a way he allowed her to do it. So, because of that, she, of course, tested her again. And she passed. And she's named a knight in his service. And, of course, his wound is treated. And talk about, more doctors. In fact, is there going to be doctors? No. They do mention basically that, about her name is Shirley. They do mention that her village, that her armor comes from generations of her family. So it's implied that she comes from a knight's family here. Nothing was delved into that here. There's mention of the fact that her village doesn't have doctors. So I was like, Pasco, yes. Finance basically the potential doctors and send someone to the Imperial Doctor to set more doctors. I'm like, okay, not a bad idea. Basically think, is he wasting money? Not really, per se. Noah's basically investing in the future. That's literally what he's doing here. And by the way, he's still 6 here. Yes, 6 years old. By the way, there's a later scene. I think this comes after the shopping scene here, where he's visited by one of his other brothers, Oscar, who's the 8th prince. I think this was his first appearance since the pilot episode we see him, where it's like, they come across this statue made of glass. Now, in case you're curious, though, have I ever seen personally statues made of glass? Yes, I have, except they're never this size. Usually they're basically about this big. As a matter of fact, I actually have something. I have a ship of bottom made glass. So, I do know about these things. It's like, this is Lindsay. Who is Lindsay, you might ask? Some artisan that he knows. And I want to use a home. So, Noah's like, it's alright, I already purchased the damn thing. Breaks the damn statue. I knew he was going to do that. Because I read the manga. That's how I knew. It's like, I'm going to buy another gift too. Buy something else too. And Chopper was like, and basically put it out there that this one was actually broken when I found it. And, he bought it anyway, so, yeah, because I read the manga, so I knew this was going to happen. So, I'm like, he's going to break it. I was right, he did. You're probably thinking, Nick, you just basically read the notes for this thing. You probably do expect this to happen. Yes, because, but from the start, with the exception of one scene, mostly this anime has been really faithful to the manga adaptation of the series. I have not read the novel, like I said, I've not read the light novel, but I have read the light novel, I've read the novel, the manga adaptation. And so far, scene for scene, it's mostly put exactly the same. I'm like, wow, I was shocked the fact like this. So, and then we have a scene basically in the mansion where we have Shirley waking up, we see basically her in her underwear. And she's the fact that, wow, she's very well fit. She basically looks like she probably works out. She looks in great shape. And then we see her going downstairs and runs into Zoe. There's also chat about, the fact that possibly Zoe might have a thing for Noah. It doesn't go much anywhere at all, by the way. As a matter of fact, she doesn't marry Noah because it's not because she's a maid, because of course, basically, someone else is like to be his bride. There's talk about it here, but not just you. But like, he's only 6, and then of course we have eventually a time skip. Yep, the shows. In a way, this was technically probably the first time skip since the pilot episode. Now we jump ahead 6 years later. Now Zoe at the start of the series was 18. That's how she was when we first see her in the series. We jump at 6 years later. Noah's reported to be 12 years old, so he looks a bit older than that. And Zoe is presumably 24 years old. Shirley, don't know exactly how old she is, but she's still the same. She looks exactly the same. So, the only one has age here is Noah. And apparently he works with his brother, Henry, who is now the minister of the military. And there's this man named Reese, there's a rebellion basically in the southern province where, there's barbarians there. By the way, the time skip thing happens here. Before he goes to visit the brother, they have the time skip happen at the end of episode 5. So, at the start of episode 6, we see him preparing for, basically, getting gifts for his 12th birthday. And they mention for his, I'm presuming his 11th birthday, because they mentioned previous year, it took a week to process the entire, all the presents. All people coming through. This is going on apparently for 3 days. Yeah, and of course, there's a girl named Gigi who is here and supplied she has a thing for Noah. Does not go anywhere at all at this point, but we'll find out. See. So, then he visits his brother and his man rates, this guy's in charge. How many truly men? And of course, Henry kind of figures out what the heck is going on here. He finds out his subordinate's been embezzling money. And it's here's 2,000. You have one goal to make sure you don't go to jail. Don't lose. And Reese is yes, Your Highness. And he's not seen again. Of course, Henry And then we have a very weird scene where we have Henry's carriage and we also have Noah's carriage going side by side. By the way, the windows are up here. Which, I still question this, are the windows very thick? Yeah, you can hear them basically outside. And I appreciate the fact that they have windows because a lot of characters in these fantasy anime generally do have windows, and then they're stopped because a child has run onto the street. A child who was a slave, oh crap, and this is Underground Empire, and by the way, it's all connected to Noah's eldest brother, Gilbert, who is the first prince, except he's not in line for the throne. Albert is. Albert's basically first line for the throne. They explain the reason why Gilbert is not. Despite he is technically the firstborn son, the reason why he's not the heir to the throne, because they explain that he's the son of a concubine. Yep. That's kind of what happened here. So, and it's and of course, they got the middle, and of course, we had this guy. We don't know who this guy is. He claims to be a subordinate of Gilbert. And Noah basically asks his brother Henry, do you know this man? He's no. Knocks him out. Hasn't been arrested. And have him basically taken to the first prince's mansion. And apparently, Henry has kind of known about what the heck that basically Gilbert's up to. But thing is, he's got to do something because he can't get the throne because he's not legitimate. Despite the fact he is the son of the emperor. People recognize him as son of the emperor. It's just that because he's son of a concubine, that's the main reason why. So, nothing unusual for him. And mention all about the law. And then, of course, get this. So the emperor, as a thank you for stopping this underground trade, so they, of course, they have a test, particular law, possibly, I'm going to cover, category. So, of course, the emperor's I win. And of course, Noah's what's going on? It's like, oh, it was a bet between him and the first prime minister, and since Noah passed, he is named the Minister of Justice. And then he goes see the songstress. He later on sees songstress again for this party with Brian. That was the merchant works with him. Basically, merchants work with 13 or work with Noah. So, what to do with the 4 kids? Well, he takes them in. Yep, takes them all in and basically has them work for him. Not as slaves, but as hired servants. And of course, if it's a magic, perfectly fine. And of course, Belle takes them away. And then right after this, everyone is basically requested to see Noah. Noah tells her, Evelyn, I am dismissing you from your position as maid. You are hereby named administrator of this particular area. Basically, was the prophets that basically rebelled previous episode. Like as basically mentioned, the magistrate, of course, and of course, continue to serve him as the maid. He's like, no. You do a fantastic job with the birthday thing, and because of the fact you're really good at your job, I want you administrator. So, and the reason why he does is because this territory he was given is so vast, he can't exactly maintain it by himself. So he appoints administrators to work as his proxies to basically take over territory. Like, okay, interesting. And of course, he's so happy. And then the episode ends with Shirley basically kind of implying the fact that, well, and like, don't say out loud, despite the fact basically that, well, I should point this out though, the fact that Noah is a much better person than Gilbert. Interesting though for the series so far. So we have not met Gilbert. We've seen his image. We haven't seen him yet. You know, first we have not seen the series yet because we know about the first prince. We know about the second prince. We know about the 4th prince, the 8th prince. I'm like, and of course Noah's obviously the 13th prince. So who is princes 3, 5, 6, 7, 9 through 12? Honest to God, really a question that never gets answered in the series. Because originally Noah was not originally lying for the throne because he was the 13th son. But, well, we're going to find out and see. And it becomes much more interesting as time goes on. And right now, there's only 2 more episodes left to go. And then I'm caught up. Yes, and this is join my interview schedule for about 4 weeks. And then it's been gone. Yeah, but I'm still enjoying this. I'm halfway through. Been an amazing series so far. And coming next episode. Before I go on the next 2 episodes, I gotta work on my Hero Academia Vigilantes. That's coming next. So please be sure to like, comment, subscribe to notifications. Okay, next video. Bye.